What's up, guys? So today's a little bit different video. Um, I watch a lot of different YouTubers online, and a lot of them like tell the story of how they got into gaming and stuff. So that's kind of what I want to do. That way, you know what my background is. And I apologize for this camera and this lighting today. It is horrible. Had a really bad glare. It's like lines all across the thing. But anyway, I do apologize. So the story of how I got into gaming is I don't remember when Mom and Dad bought the Atari. I just remember that we've had it for as long as I can remember. And we didn't have the one that everybody else had. We didn't have the Atari 2600. That's the wood grain with the switches and the top load and all that. I think all of them were top load, even the computer. But as far as with the Atari, we had the 5200, which was it had better games, in my opinion. The earlier one, of course, obviously the games weren't advanced, but we had Joust, we had Q*bert. I thought that we had Centipede as well, but we didn't have the trackball thing. The trackball was this huge controller. It was like this big by like this, and it had a trackball, and that's all that it was. Like literally, the controller was like this big, and it had a trackball in the middle about this big. But we never had that, and the controllers were real weird. They were long like this, and then it had a stick, and then it had two fire buttons on each side, and then it had the number pad like you would have on a telephone. And then some games came with little cards that you stick in there, and those buttons did additional things in the game, which I thought was really cool. But we grew up with that, and then the NES came out. And you got to remember, like, I'm from a military family, and Dad wasn't high rank or anything like that. So we were living paycheck to paycheck, like most military families. And this was when we were in Panama, so those things are hard to get down there. I never saw Nintendos or anything in the stores down there. Now he would go on TDY, and he came back from TDY, and he had gone to Odd Lots, which is also Big Lots. I guess the North and the South, they're called different things. We're from Ohio, so he went up to visit his family up in Ohio, and while he was up there, he picked up an NES, and it was $80. And it was in box. Back then, like, they would get their stuff from like Finger Hut. It was like Finger Hut returns and stuff like that. So he got the NES, and then so that was our big thing, because we were like one of the cool people, because there was only a few people on base that had an NES. So that was the only time that I was like ahead of the curve in the gaming stuff. At that time, we didn't have much. We had the Mario Duck Hunt, so we had that, and then I can't remember what else games we had down there. But a friend of mine, he had all kinds of Nintendo games, and I would just go up there. He lived like up the hill in the next section of housing, so he was literally just like up the hill. So we walked up the hill, and I grabbed a couple games. Then it was The Adventures of Link. I used to borrow that, and then Zelda all the time. Back when we got back to the States, we would rent movies, and he would let me get a game. And most of the time, we would rent like RC Pro-Am. Love that game. I still love that game. It's kind of stupid, but it's one of those games that doesn't have an end. You just keep going on the tracks over and over and over. We got pretty good at it, but it never ended. Years down the line, we acquired games here and there. Nothing significant. And that was pretty much my gaming stuff up until I got the Game Boy. They bought me a Game Boy, and it was a lot of money. That was one thing. That was the one thing that I did good on my grades for grade school, and that was the one time that they did this for me. They went and they brought home a Game Boy for me. It had Tetris in it. And then back then, we were collecting Kool-Aid points because we were drinking Kool-Aid like crazy back then. And you would collect the points off the back, and then you could send them in to the Kool-Aid thing. And they had Dr. Mario, which I had. I had Dr. Mario. No, I take that back. I had Metroid for Game Boy, and I sent in and got Dr. Mario using Kool-Aid points. So I thought that was really cool. Had a few other games on there. Had a pretty big collection for Game Boy. Sadly, I don't have, I think, maybe one game out of my original collection. I played the Game Boy so much that it literally died. It wouldn't work. I don't know what was wrong with it, but I got rid of it. There was a period where I got rid of a lot of stuff, including all of the jewel cases for, I would say, probably 98% of my PS1 collection. And, yeah, I'm not happy with myself for that. But, we all make mistakes like that. But I got the Game Boy. And then, dude, I was still playing that shit hardcore in high school. And then this was like Game Boy Advanced time. I was still playing the original Game Boy. I didn't get anything else game-related until I got out of high school. So this is 1996. Then, by then I had a job. I got a Sega Nomad. Played it for a few days. wasn't happy with it. No, I take that back. I got the Sega Genesis when my friend came over. This is when I was working nights. I worked with my friend, and he would come over, and he got the PlayStation 1. And, of course, I had just got my Sega Genesis, and we're talking like years after the life cycle of the Genesis. I ended up getting one of those. I can't remember how much I paid. It was like $50 or something like that. But he brought that over, and I was so mad because it was so fucking cool. So I had a credit card that I had put in for, and it was just enough money to go and buy actually, I think I put it on layaway because it was a little bit more than I had. But I maxed that credit card out. So I got the PlayStation. I put Tomb Raider and Resident Evil. And at this time, it was just Resident Evil. It wasn't a director's cut or anything. So I got those two games put on. So I had the PS1. And then I played PS1. Me and my buddy, man, we played that shit like all the time. Descent was really cool because you had that port on the back that you can connect two systems. And then we had another TV, and these are CRT TVs. This was before HD, so we had our big one in the living room, and then we had another one, and we would play Descent together, and that was so cool. And then after that, I got married. Didn't really have much gaming stuff going on. I picked up games here and there, Resident Evil 2, stuff like that. I've got a decent collection. And then I was working with my wife at the time at Sonic. And in the mornings, I would have to car hop, so I was making like cash. I'd take my tips every day, and I'd go to GameStop. This is when PS2 was going out of style. They were just a bunch of loose games that they would sell. So I could go in there with $20 and leave with like 3 games. And I would try to do that as often as I could so that I can build up my disc collection. After that, I didn't do a whole lot of gaming for a while because of kids and jobs and all kinds of stuff. I got a PC, was in the PC gaming some. Um, this was like Gateway time. So we got a Gateway computer. It was pretty awesome at the time. Played a bunch of different tactical games, strategy games. Then Morrowind came out. Got into that. And then, let's see. After PS3, I never had a PS3. Up until quite recently. Got a PS3 from a guy for like $50. Just my collection grew and grew and grew. I'd have to say after my last divorce, I was living with my parents, and so I just started like hardcore collecting. Now I've got 2 Dreamcasts, I've got 2 PS2s, I've got like 3 or 4 PS1s. I've got a Sega Genesis again. Sold my Super Nintendo and my Nintendo. I don't really have any use for those older systems like that because I've got an emulation station. So I do all my emulation off of there. My PS2 is modded, so I can use my games off of the hard drive for that. Dreamcast as well. N64, I've got an EverDrive with the whole North American collection on it. I do own quite a bit of Nintendo 64 stuff. It's just so costly now. Doesn't make any sense. But got into PS4 really big. You can see part of my collection there. And I've got hundreds of games on PS4. A little over 600 and something, I believe. And then I had a gun. I collected or traded a buddy of mine. He was looking for a gun, so I traded him an Xbox 360 Slim. Got into Xbox. That was my first Xbox. I wasn't really an Xbox guy. Now I got 2 Xboxes, OG Xboxes. One's modded. I've got 2 Xbox 360 Slims. One's a 4 gig. One is a 360 gig model. Ended up flashing the BIOS different, but it's still legit. I got an Xbox One that I ended up buying Black Friday one year. Paid like $100 and played the shit out of that. So much that the disk drive is dying. So I ended up making a trade for an Xbox Series S, and I fucking love it. That's one of the best systems that I've got in a while. Now PS4, I've got the PS4 Pro. House got hit by lightning, killed it, so I had to buy another one. That sucked. That was a lot of money. But I got that. So now I'm playing PS4 still. I got a good, decent PC, so I'm playing a lot of PC games. Just a whole bunch of stuff. I got a whole room full of stuff here. Some of it I got free, some of it I got really cheap, some of it cost me a lot of money. But that is pretty much my life in gaming, man. I love modding. So I've got modded controllers and modded systems, all kinds of stuff going on. I love emulation. I think that when you're gaming, it doesn't matter how you're gaming. To me, if you like playing games on your phone, then that's all you. You know, you can play games however you want to play them, and that's where I really think that that we're going with this. Is we're getting away from all the physical stuff and going to all digital and cloud. It kind of sucks for collecting because what happens, like with PS4 when they shut down all the servers and stuff for that, if my hard drive dies, then I can't get the games. I got all these thousands of dollars worth of games that I can't access, so that sucks, but it is what it is. It's the sign of the times, you know. And I don't know. That's really all I got. How did you guys get into gaming? To me, it was just we had the Atari, and then Dad got a NES, and we never played for like hundreds of hours on something. You know, we played here and there. Most of our time was outside. So, but let me know how you guys got into the business, and you know, what is your favorite system? What is your favorite system? I didn't tell you how I got a Nintendo Switch. So when that came out, I wasn't gonna buy it. I thought it was like gimmicky. Last Nintendo system that I bought retail was the Nintendo Wii. And man, we played the shit out of that. The original white Wii. That's when I was with my first wife, and we had a blast with it. We ended up getting Rock Band with the guitar and the mic and the drums and all that stuff. It was fucking awesome. So much fun with that. And then the Wii U came out. There wasn't a point to get one of those. I've got both of those now. Both are modded. But so this Nintendo Switch came out. And, you know, like I said, it was kind of gimmicky. I am working somewhere where I was put in a place and we would have to wait for these guys to come in and exchange linen. This was on an air base. So we would exchange the linen. They would bring their dirty stuff. We'd give them clean. And then, but hell, back then it was me and one other guy. And we would literally have like 2 or 3 people come in a week. And we were sitting there for half a day. And we wouldn't have anything to do. And, of course, he's into sports and stuff like that. He's an older guy. I'm not into sports. We don't really have anything to talk about. And it's not that we were being rude to each other or anything. We just, you know, he's the good dude. I'm a good dude. We just didn't have anything in common, really, to talk about on the regular. So I bought a Vita from a friend of mine, and I was playing that. And then the hype kind of died out for me on that. And I was like, you know what? I got this credit card. Let me buy this Nintendo Switch and see what it's all about. And now I have 2 Nintendo Switches, and I've got hundreds of games. And I've modified both of them. One has just a shell swap and a huge SD card. It's got all my games on it. And then I've got a modified one that has a custom firmware and stuff like that. And that one's banned by Nintendo. Rightfully so. But so that's my story in getting the Nintendo Switch. I almost didn't do it, and now I own 2 of them. So I think it's actually a very good system. If you keep in mind that you can play Skyrim on an airplane. You can play Smash Bros. At the library. I mean, I'm not into Smash Bros. I have it, but I'm not into it. But I play mostly single players, so. But I love indies. I'm glad that I've got the Nintendo Switch because that's when I really got into indie games. Moonlighter, Dead Cells, all kinds of different stuff. I love indie games. I will give any indie games a try. There's so many good ones out there. If you guys don't play indie games, I think you should give them a try. There are some really, really good ones out there. And if you only play AAA games, you're missing out on a bunch. There's some really, really good games. But other than that, that's all I got as far as with this video. I know it's about 20 minutes long. But gaming for me is just, it's a release, you know. You come home, you had a hard day at work. Even if you don't work hard, you know, sometimes in here it's hard. And, you know, you come home, and you're all frustrated. You get on the game, you kill about 100 people, and then you're like, yeah, I like it. It's better to kill people in a video game than in real life, because then you can't play video games no more. But, you know, I joke. But for me, it's a release. It's something that I like to do. It's something that I don't do as much as some people think that I do, and that kind of pisses me off. But they think all I do is play video games, when in real life I don't really play video games that much. I wait until the kids go to bed. So, but other than that, I do stream a little bit. So if you're interested in seeing what I'm playing, Trinity Trigger right now on PC, and that's not a very long game, and I haven't streamed in a couple of weeks, but it's been super, super hot, and this game room isn't the best. It's just a garage, so if you're interested in that, head over on Twitch, Game Tinkerer at twitch.tv, and hope to see you guys there. Let me know what you guys got into, what you're playing currently, and what's your favorite system overall. There's a lot of systems out there, and I'd be interested in hearing what your favorite game is for that system. So with that being said, thanks for joining me, and I hope you guys are doing well and are healthy. And if you aren't, I hope that you get that way as soon as possible. Spread love and not hate, and we'll see you guys next time.